like almost every single woman has some sort of story where she was in a room or in a space with a man and that man made her feel unsafe. Women are equally as likely to commit domestic violence. I genuinely, when I got into this work, I thought that it was going to be like, oh, just men commit domestic violence. Mm-hmm. No, women are really equally as likely to commit domestic violence.
But why were you surprised by that?
Because I had a different definition in my head of what domestic violence was before I got my training, and women are far more likely to commit psychological domestic violence or emotional domestic violence.
So the first point is that it's not because you feel unsafe that is someone else's fault. It's not because you feel unsafe at some point in your life that is someone else's fault that you felt unsafe. Someone can behave just normally and you can feel unsafe. It happens to women, it happens to men. However, the difference is that men are physically stronger. And this is why biological men should not compete against biological women. Men are much stronger physically. So of course, if you're in a room with a man and it's a man that you don't even know, you can't even trust, you're gonna feel somehow threatened. That's quite normal. Same thing for a man. If a man is in a cage with a professional boxer, do you think that this man will feel very safe in the cage with this professional boxer? Of course he will not. That's the difference, is that when someone is much stronger physically, it's quite normal to feel unsafe. It doesn't mean because you feel unsafe that this is the reality. That's the first point. Of course, we should educate men. Men should not attack women, should not sexually attack women, should not be violent physically towards women. That's for sure. And the men that do it should be condemned. At the same time, men should be empowered to defend women. Because in order to defend a woman, you need a strong man. If you're in the street and a man attacks you, who is going to defend you? It's going to be a man in the street. It's going to be the police. It's going to be whoever is around, but it's more likely to be a man. Because even if you call the emergency services, guess what? Men are going to turn up. Because the vast majority of policemen are men. That's the reality. And finally, men commit more physical violence towards women. That's very true. However, women commit much more emotional violence towards men. And no one talks about it. It's very silent. But the thing is that who commits more suicides? It's men. And this is why emotional violence is not visible. But at the end of the day, the death of men accumulate throughout the year. And no one talks about it. Because a lot of men that will commit suicide will be the result of a woman's emotional violence. So you need to ask yourself, do you really want to fight against violence? Or do you only want to fight against a specific form of violence that you like? Because as discussed in the conversation, men and women are as violent. They are as violent. And that's the reality. When you look into the figures, you look into the stats, women are as violent as men. The question at the end of the day is about how can you make the world a better place, a safer place for both men and women.